everyone. Becky, I'm from Malta, and today I'm going to be doing a class with my client who's been doing Pilates with me for a month and a half now. And he first started off Pilates because he had lower back pain, and from our patient assessment, I noticed that he had lumbar lordosis and a protracted head. He also has a slight scoliosis. So we had quite a few things to work on, but he's been improving a lot. The aims of this class today are going to be to get better activation through the abdominals and through the glutes. And the reason for this is to try and correct his anterior pelvic tilt because I assume that it might be coming on from his very weak abs and weak glutes, which makes a bit of sense because he's a desk worker and he's not getting a lot of activation through these muscles. The second is to also work through the posterior oblique sling, and this is to create more support, especially for his lumbar spine. And the third is to strengthen his deep neck flexor muscles so that we can align his spine, his cervical spine, with the rest of his body. And so I'm just going to get started over here. So we're going to do a half an hour. And so that's quite fast. Okay. So this is David. And we're going to start off from standing today. So we're just going to start off by spreading our feet if this is apart.
I'm facing you.
Yeah, I'm facing exactly. Okay, just making sure that your toes are pointing forwards. We're going to keep a soft bend in the knee and just making sure that your hips are stacked onto your knees. And we're going to bring our hands by your side. Draw your shoulders down towards your hips and keep your neck nice and long. So let's start off by engaging our center. You want to zip up your tummy muscles inwards and upwards towards your spine like you're wearing a tight pair of jeans. Nice, so we're going to place one hand on your belly button and we're going to place the other hand onto your rib cage over here. And we're just going to go into some lateral breathing. So you're going to keep that core activation. And on the next breath in, we're going to inhale, we're going to open up the rib cage, looking towards the side, keeping your hip bones facing towards the front. And exhale, we're going to draw your fingers back towards the midline, coming back to the center. Nice. Let's inhale to open up, keeping that center nice and engaged, and exhale to come back. Let's inhale here again, keeping your neck nice and long, keeping a soft piece between your chin and your chest, and exhale. And let's go for one more on each side. Keep that center nice and engaged. Open up the rib cage as you breathe in. And let's close the rib cage as you breathe out. Bring your fingers back towards the midline. Nice. Let's swap the hands and take it towards the other side. Let's keep our tummy muscles nice and engaged onto the opposite rib cage. And take a deep breath in here. Open up towards your side. Looking towards the back of your room. Keeping your hip bones face towards the front. And exhale, we're going to draw your fingers closer towards each other. And keeping your shoulders drawn down towards the hips. Nice. Let's inhale here again. And exhale. And let's go for two more. Really good form. Keep that center nice and engaged. And let's go for one more. And let's inhale. Open up that rib cage. And exhale to come back. Now try to keep this center activation towards the rest of the class. Let's bring our hands by our side. Coming into our next exercise, down winter. Just to warm up the shoulder together, let's start by turning the palm of the hands upwards towards the ceiling. And we're slowly going to open up, slowly rotate our elbows towards the side. And then we're going to bring them back to the start position. Let's inhale to open up. And exhale to draw back. Really good, but this time I want you to try to keep your elbows tucked in as you open up towards the side. And exhale to come back.
See the limitation?
Sorry?
My left one, the limitation.
Yeah, it's okay if you feel any pain at all, just reduce the range of motion. So you can just open up a bit less and then slowly come back. Let's inhale to open up and exhale back. Try not to overload your neck muscles, keeping them nice and soft. Keep that rib cage nice and soft, flowing through that movement, making sure that we're not arching in the lower back. Let's go for 10. And just finding a breath pattern which is good for you, keeping a soft beat between the chin and the chest, looking towards the front. Let's go for 6 and 5, keeping your knees pointed towards the front, toes facing forward. And let's go for 4 and 3, 2, keeping your chest nice and soft, rib cage is soft. And let's go for 1 more. On the next one, we're going to open up. We're going to extend the elbows towards the side. We're going to slowly come back and slowly draw the hands back in. So let's keep the elbows tucked in. Then we're going to open up, bring your hands to shoulder height. We're going to tuck your elbows back in and then draw them back to the start position. Looking towards the front at all times, try to keep your center nice and engaged, keeping a soft beat between your chin and your chest if that feels good for you. And now on the next one, we're slowly going to open up here again. And this time we're going to turn the palms of the hands facing down. We're going to turn them up and then slowly draw the elbows back in and bring them back to the start position. This is a really good exercise to wake up your shoulder muscles. Just getting those arms nice and warm for the rest of the class. Remember to breathe, using your breath to get that muscle activation. Remember to zip up those tummy muscles, draw the shoulders away from the ears, and keep the rib cage nice and soft, touching the imaginary wall that's behind you so you don't arch your lower back. Let's go for 3 more like this. And let's go for 2. Really good form. And let's go for 1 more. And open up, let's turn the palms down, bring them back up, and slowly come back to the start position. Let's bring the hands by our side. Coming into our next exercise, the mermaid, to really warm, stretch out your side obliques. Let's inhale, we're going to bring the left arm up towards the ceiling, keeping it nice and tall. We're going to slide the opposite arm down towards your knee, keeping that center nice and engaged. Keep the hips facing towards the front. And keep your neck nice and long, facing towards the front. Remember, it's an extension of your spine. Let's slowly take it towards the other side. Bring your left hand down. Bring the right arm of your hand up. Try not to push out your chest. So keep that rib cage nice and soft. We're slowly going to slide down to the other side. Nice. Let's go on to the other side again. Incorporating the breath. Let's inhale to reach up. And exhale to come down. Try as much as possible not to let go of your tummy muscles, keeping them nice and engaged as you flow through this movement much better. And let's increase the tempo of it, and let's go for 4 and 3. Let's go for 2 and last one. Really nice. Now coming towards the edge of your mat. Let's come into our roll down exercise. Just making sure once again your body is nice and aligned against the imaginary wall behind you. So your heels, your bum, and the back of your shoulders are touching the imaginary wall. Bring your hands by our side. Let's start off by engaging our center. Let's inhale to prepare. Exhale, let's lean into our nose, keeping a soft reach between the chin and the chest. And slowly begin to peel the spine off the imaginary wall that's behind you. From your upper back to your middle back and your lower back. Exhaling out, keeping that core nice and engaged. And keeping the soft beat bend in your knees. Nice. Let's take a deep breath in here. And let's bend the knees and slowly begin to engage the core. Pushing the pelvis slightly forward. And begin to roll yourself back up, drawing the shoulders away from the ears as you stand up nice and tall. We're We're going to repeat this exercise. Let's inhale to prepare, looking towards the front. Exhale, slowly begin to lead with your nose. Tuck your chin into your chest and feel the spine of the imaginary wall behind you. Keep a small gap between your chin and your chest, much better to keep your neck in neutral spine. And roll yourself all the way down. This is a really good exercise for the articulation of the spine. Let's take an inhale here to rest. And exhale, we're slowly going to bend the knees and roll yourself up. One vertebrae at a time. From your lower back, your middle back, and upper back, standing up nice and tall, keeping the ribcage nice and soft, and looking towards the front. Let's do this for one more time. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, lead with your nose, rolling yourself all the way down. As if you're feeling your spine off the imaginary wall that's behind you. And let's begin to walk our hands forward, coming into our full force position. We're slowly going to cross the legs. We're going to shift our weight onto our bum. And we're just going to roll yourself down onto our back. So coming into our next exercise, our abdo prep, let's start by coming into our Pilates rest position. So just making sure that your heels are lined with your sit bones over here. We're going to place the palms of our hands by our side. Pelvis is nice and heavy, sinking down into the hands. Just making sure that you're holding an abdominal contraction. Remember to find your neutral spine. Remember the blueberry underneath your lower back. So you don't want that blueberry to run away by arching your back too much. And you don't want to squash the blueberry by flattening your back on the floor, finding the midpoint between these two positions. Really good form. So now looking up towards the ceiling, keeping the back of the neck nice and long. We're going to inhale to prepare. And on the next exhale, we're slowly going to slide the shoulders and the head off the floor, hovering the hands towards the heels. And then we're slowly going to lower down. Let's exhale to come up. And inhale to lower down. Exhale up. And inhale lower. Just flowing through this movement is a really good exercise to wake up your abdominal muscles. Try as much as possible not to release that abdominal contraction as you rest on the floor. Let's inhale to go down and exhale out. Keep your rib cage nice and soft, touching the mat on the floor. The collarbone is nice and wide. Increasing the tempo. Let's go for 10 and 9. Keep that center nice and engaged as you slowly come down onto the floor. Try not to release so you don't arch your lower back. Let's go for 5 and 4. Make sure that you look at your knees when you come out to keep your neck aligned with the rest of your body. Let's go for 3 and 2. Let's go for 1 more. And let's slowly lower down. Let's exhale, come up here again. And we're slowly going to take our hands behind our ears. And then we're going to reach forward here again before we lower down. Let's exhale to come up. Inhale, let's bring the hands behind us. Then we're going to reach them forward again. And then slowly lower down. Keeping that center nice and engaged. Make sure to keep a soft reach between your chin and your chest. And let's go for 2 more like this. Exhale up. Inhale back. Exhale forward. And then slowly lower down. And let's go for 1 more really good form. Keeping that soft reach. And let's go for 1 more. And let's come down to rest. On to our next exercise. Now this is in level 4. Let's press the palms of our hands down into the floor. We're slowly going to bring our right leg up into tabletop position. And slowly your left leg up into tabletop position. Now in this exercise, let's try to keep our knee at a 90 degrees angle with your hip. So try not as much as possible not to bring it in towards your chest. Okay, so just bring it into our perpendicular angle. So we're slowly going to tap our legs. Tap and tap. Tap and tap. Nice. So this is a movement in your hip joints. Try as much as possible to lock your knee over here. And we're going to change the breath pattern. So we're going to inhale, inhale, and exhale, exhale. And inhale, inhale, exhale, exhale. making sure your pelvis is nice and heavy, sinking down into the mat. Try to relax your rib cage, keeping it stuck nice and soft, and keeping your collarbones nice and wide. Inhale, inhale, exhale, exhale. Inhale, inhale, exhale, exhale. Let's go for 5 and 4, 3, 2, and last one. Really nice job. Let's press both heels down into the floor. And let's slowly come into our next exercise, into our shoulder bridge. This is going to be a really good exercise for both your glutes, as well as the articulation of your lower spine. So let's start off by arching our lower back onto the floor, almost as if you have a clock over here, and you want to turn the arrow down to your 6 o'clock. And then we're going to flatten your back onto the floor, coming into our 12 o'clock. And we're slowly going to begin to lift your hip bones off the floor, reaching them up towards the ceiling. And then we're slowly going to press one vertebrae at a time, our bones back onto the floor, coming back down into your neutral spine, trying as much as possible not to arch your lower back. Let's inhale to rest. Exhale, let's slowly peel the spine off the floor, begin to squeeze the glutes. Push the hips up towards the ceiling. Really nice. Coming into your diagonal bridge. And exhale, let's slowly begin to roll yourself down one vertebrae at a time. I'm going to put a block in between your legs just so we make sure we're activating your inner thighs. Let's try this again. Let's inhale to prepare. Exhale, begin to tuck your tailbone in between the legs. Slowly begin to curl the spine off the floor, pushing your hips up, squeezing the glutes. Keeping your gaze towards that block in between you. And let's inhale to hold. Exhale, slowly roll yourself down, one vertebrae at a time. Okay, really good. We're going to try this again, but next time, let's try not to push out your chest too much. So keeping your rib cage nice and soft. Let's exhale. Let's tuck the tailbone in between the legs. Curl the spine off the floor from your lower back, your middle back, and upper back, this time pushing your hips slightly higher. And let's inhale to hold and exhale, roll yourself back down, one vertebrae at a time. If you find this position uncomfortable, you can try and move your heels slightly inwards closer towards your sit bones. So not together, keeping them separated. So bringing them closer towards your bum. So keep your feet hip distance apart. So let's inhale to prepare. Exhale, roll yourself up. One vertebrae at a time, keeping your neck onto the floor, looking up towards the ceiling. Really nice. So from over here, we're going to go into our next exercise. Coming into our modified level 2. So we're going to repeat the same exercise as we did before in our scissors. But this time what we're going to do is we're going to do it in our shoulder bridge. So we're going to go 1 and 2. And then we're slowly going to roll back down onto the floor, one vertebrae at a time. Let's inhale to rest, keeping that center nice and engaged as we begin to squeeze the core, squeeze the glutes, and push the hips up towards the ceiling, looking up towards the ceiling. Let's inhale to hold. We're going to go for 2 counts here again. 1 and 2. Exhale as we bring the feet up. Then you're going to roll yourself back down once again. Just flowing through this movement, I'm going to check on your phone, using your breath to really help you get that muscle activation. Try not to lift your head off the floor as you come up. 1 and 2. And let's roll yourself back down. So let's try this again. This time, let's really try to imagine that your spine is moving one vertebrae at a time. Let's slowly lift yourself off the floor. And let's go for 1 and 2. Press your knee down into the floor and then slowly come down. Keep your shoulder blades nice and soft, rib cage is soft. Let's try this again. Exhale, let's come up. And let's take the right leg up and the left leg up. Try to keep your hips nice and high, only bringing your knee as far as your hip joint, keeping your head on the floor. And let's roll yourself back down, one vertebrae at a time. So this time I'm going to place this prop underneath your leg. So this is going to be your grounded leg. And we're going to try this exercise again, so we're going to get more muscle activation over here. So this is a really good exercise for the glutes. Let's inhale to prepare. Exhale, let's slowly begin to roll yourself up, one vertebra at a time. Let's push the hips up, squeeze the glutes. Nice. So you're going to keep your foot grounded into the floor, and we're going to come back into our scissors over here, and we're going to go for 6 counts this time. We're going to go for 6, only bringing your knee as far as your hip, and let's go for 4, exhale up, and inhale to lower, exhale up, let's go for 3, and 2, let's go for 1 more, and then slowly lower down. Keeping your knees hip distance apart. Let's try this again. Let's inhale to hold. Keep that center nice and engaged. Exhale, let's slowly begin to curl the spine on the floor. And we're going to go for another 6 this time. Let's exhale up. Only bringing your knee as far as your hip, and then slowly down. Keep the collarbones nice and wide, keeping your ribcage soft. Let's go for 4, and 3, 2, squeeze the glutes, push the hips up, 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 and let's go for 1 more. Really good form. Let's lower the heel down into the floor, and let's 1 vertebra at a time, keeping your head on the floor, and let's slowly come back into your neutral spine. Let's take it onto the other side, placing the prop underneath your opposite foot. Let's try to keep your feet as much as possible, hip distance apart. So let's inhale to hold, and exhale, we're slowly going to begin to curve the spine, tuck your tailbone, and between your legs again. Keeping our head on the floor, we're slowly going to lift the opposite leg up, really big to top, perpendicular angle, and then slowly down. Let's exhale, come up, and inhale to lower down. Try as much as possible not to rock and roll in your shoulders, keeping them both grounded onto the floor. Really try to squeeze your glutes up, push your hips up towards the ceiling. And let's go for 1 more. Let's drop the heel down. And now one from your upper back, your middle back, and your lower back is the last part to reach the floor, coming back to your neutral spine. Let's try this again. Engage the center, zip up your tummy muscles. Exhale, let's begin to squeeze the glutes from your lower back to your middle back and upper back to come up. We're going to go for 6 counts here again, lifting the left heel off the floor. Let's go for 6 and 5. Nice and slow and in control. Let's go for 3 and 2. Let's go for 1 more. Pressing the heel down into the floor. Let's roll yourself back down. Really nice form. So coming into our hip flexor stretch, just to release our hips a bit. Let's extend the left knee, and we're going to bring the right knee in towards the chest. And let's take a deep breath in here. And as you exhale, let's try to draw your knee closer inwards towards the chest. Taking it towards the other side, opposite knee inwards towards the chest. Let's extend the right knee. Slightly down towards the floor. Taking a deep breath in and try to bring your knee inwards towards your chest. And now we're slowly going to bring our knee down towards the bottom of the mat, and we're going to roll ourselves onto the side. Now please sleep. Okay?
Yes, I found that part out.
I can't. Slowly So we're going to come into our climb level 2 exercise. So just making sure that you're going to rest your bottom hand down into the floor. And we're going to bend the knees. And we just want to make sure that your heels are in line with your back and are in line with your shoulders, just resting on the floor. Try not to arch your back as much as possible, so keeping that ribcage nice and soft. Let's start off by engaging our center, drawing your shoulders down towards your hips, and making sure that we're keeping our neutral spine. So stacking your hips onto each other, let's lift up to our sides, make sure we're engaging those obliques.
Really nice. So you can either place our hands onto our hips or placing our hands in front of you to support you, whichever you feel is more comfortable. We're going to come into our clam exercise and start off by engaging the glutes. So really squeezing your bum in. And we're going to open up the top leg, keeping your heels onto each other. And we're going to close them again and keep a gap in between your knees as you close. Incorporating the breath, let's exhale to open up. And inhale to close. So this is a really good exercise for your side glute muscles, especially, which are your external rotators, which is something which we often tend not to activate throughout our day. And then exhale to open up. And inhale to close. Keep that center nice and engaged. Try not to push out your chest as much as possible. And try not to overload your neck muscles. Drawing your shoulders down towards your hips. And keeping your neck nice and long, like someone is pulling you from my string from the top of your head. Let's go for 10. And 9. 8. And 7. Try as much as possible not to arch your lower back, much better. Let's go for 6. And 5. 4. 3. Keep that center nice and engaged. Draw the shoulders down. And let's go for one more. And slowly come down. Really good form.
Yeah.
It's when you don't close your legs all the way because of gravity, you feel it much more. Yeah. So now we're going to push ourselves up, just coming into our main stretch. We're slowly going to bring our front leg and we're going to place it onto our knee. So let's engage the center, sit up nice and tall. We're going to inhale, we're going to reach one arm up towards the ceiling. And exhale, almost as if you have a rollerblade underneath you. You're going to roll your hand as if you're sliding on ice and just reach towards the side. You can either come down onto your elbow or you can extend your elbow, just whichever feels more comfortable for you. Try as much as possible not to arch your back. So keep your center nice and engaged and neck nice and long. Now we're slowly going to roll ourselves back to the start position. And then we're going to roll ourselves back. Try as much as possible to keep your sit bones onto the floor. Nice, much better. Really round your spine. Let's inhale to come back. And let's go for 3. This is a really good exercise to stretch out your back muscles, which will really help with your scoliosis, especially the side which is tightened. And let's go for one more. And exhale to come down. Let's slowly come back, taking it towards the other side. So we're going to flip the feet, finding your sit bones, making sure you're sitting up nice and tall.
Yeah.
Are you okay? Okay, so let's engage the center, place the opposite hand down into the floor, reaching up, and let's exhale to come down. Try not to stick out your chest. Keep drawing your shoulders down towards your ears and looking towards me so you don't extend your neck. Now we're slowly going to come back. Let's exhale to round. And inhale to flow back, almost as if you're flowing in water. Slow and in control. And let's go for 2 more. Leaving your hand at shoulder height as you slowly come up. And let's go for 1 more. And exhale. Now slowly shifting up. We're going to roll yourself down onto the opposite side. Coming back into our clown exercise to work out your glutes onto this side. Okay, so we're slowly going to extend the bottom hand, making sure that you're just nice and rested. And we're going to engage our core, we're going to bend the knees. And just remember to align the rest of your body against the imaginary wall behind you. So just making sure that the back of your neck is in line with your lower back, with your bum, and with your heels over your eyes. So let's make sure that your hips are stacked, your ankles are stacked, looking towards the front. Let's lift up to the side, almost as if you want to post the letter underneath the side. Remember, modification of your hand, you can either support it in front of you or you can place it onto your hip. Coming into our plank exercise, let's start off by opening up the top leg. Then we're slowly going to close the clamp, but as we close, we're going to keep a nice gap in between the knees. Let's exhale to open up, and inhale to close. Making sure that you're really squeezing your glutes. Try as much as possible not to rock and roll in your hips. If you feel like you're moving about, just reduce the range of motion. Let's exhale to open, and inhale to close. Try as much as possible not to arch in the lower back, using your core to keep it nice and engaged. Let's exhale to open up, and inhale to close. Keeping your ribcage nice and soft, drawing your shoulders down towards your hips so you don't overload your neck muscles. Let's go for 10 and 9. Really good form. Remember to lift up to your side. Keep your obliques nice and engaged. Let's go for 7 and 6. Look towards the front. Keep the soft feet between your chin and your chest. Now back of the neck is nice and long. Let's go for 4 and 3. Really good form. Keep those obliques nice and engaged. And let's go for 1 more. And let's close the clamp and slowly come down. We're going to roll your cervical spine onto your belly, coming into our swimmer exercise. We're slowly going to stack your hands onto each other. And we're just going to make sure that your feet are separated as much as your hips. And we just want to make sure that we're engaging your core, so we're lifting your belly button away from the mat. Almost as if there's a fire underneath you, while at the same time you want your pelvis to be nice and heavy. Yes, much better. So squeezing the glutes and pressing your pelvis down into the floor. So just keeping this, we're going to extend the arms forward this time. We're going to extend the arms forward like this, so keeping the abdominal contraction. And we're going to come into our swimmer level 3. So let's start off by, we're going to raise the top hand off the floor, looking down towards the floor. And we're going to raise the right leg on the floor at the same time. And then we're slowly going to lower down. Let's take the opposite side, raising the right hand on the left leg on the floor. And then slowly lowering down. Just flowing through this movement. Let's exhale to come up. And inhale to lower down. Exhale up. And inhale, lower down. This is a really good exercise for your posterior oblique sling. I really want you to think about not arching in your lower back, so keeping that core nice and engaged, and just gently doing a small hover as you lift yourself up the floor. Exhale up, and inhale down. Try not to overload in your neck. Draw your shoulders down towards your hips. Yes, much better. And keep your feet separated, keeping them hip distance apart. Let's exhale up, and inhale to lower down. Exhale up. Really good form. We're going to try this again, but keeping your feet separated, keeping them as wide as your hips. Let's exhale to come up. Lifting your chest and your forehead on the floor. We're slowly going to slide them up. And then we're going to lower down. Nice. Let's slide them up, keeping the hover, and then slowly coming down. This is a really good exercise to help maintain that nice posture in your neck. Just making sure that you're looking down towards the floor at all times. Let's go for 8 and 7. Really finding the length in your body, almost as if someone is pulling you from your fingertips and from your toes, from a string. Let's go for 6 and 5. Keep that center nice and engaged. Make sure you're squeezing the glutes and the pelvis is nice and heavy. Lifting up to your chest. Let's go for 2 more. And last one. And slowly coming down. Let's slowly shift your weight back, coming into our child's pose. reaching your arms forward, just to give our back a nice stretch over here. Let's inhale, we're going to walk your fingertips towards the front of the back. And exhale, we're going to deepen that stretch over here. Now we're slowly going to shift our weight up, coming into our all fours position. This is going to be another really good exercise to help you maintain your neck and your neutral spine. Just making sure that your knees are directly underneath your hips. And your hands are slightly forward of your shoulder blades. So let's start off by just preparing the neck. You want to drop the neck down. And exhale, you want to push the floor away from you and keep the back of the neck nice and long with the rest of the body. Let's inhale to drop. And exhale to push out. Inhale, drop. And exhale, push out. So for the rest of the exercise, I want you to try and keep this posture as much as possible. So really engaging those lower back muscles to keep that neck nice and long. We're just going to push the floor away from you. Make sure that you're in your neutral spine. So keep that core nice and engaged. Just lift up through the core, almost as if there's a fire underneath you. Bringing your knees slightly forward so they're underneath your hips. Really good more. So let's start off from over here. We're going to tuck the toes into the floor. And we're going to hover the knees on the floor. And then we're slowly going to come down. Let's exhale to lift up. And inhale to lower down. Exhale out. And inhale to lower down. Just flow through this movement. I'm going to check on your core. This is a really good exercise for all of your body, especially your core. Try not to drop your neck, so look down towards the floor and make sure that you're really pushing the floor away from you to make sure these muscles are nice and engaged. Let's go for 4 and 3. Bringing your knees slightly forward so they're in front of your hips. Let's go for 2 more. And last one, much better. Now let's slowly hover the legs off the floor. And we're going to push ourselves back, coming into your feet position, keeping ourselves bent in the knees if it feels good for you. And then we're going to slowly move your hands inwards towards your chest. We're going to take a breath in. We're going to bend the knees, and on the next exhale, let's roll yourself up. And vertebrae down against your mighty shoulders behind you. Roll your shoulders down towards your hips. Nice and slow. Until we slowly come up back into the soft position. Let's take a breath in here. And let's exhale. We're going to roll yourself back down. From your upper back to your middle back and lower back. Keep this soft bend in the knees. And we're going to walk yourself back out into your all fours position to go into our round 2. Finding your posture again, making sure that your hands are slightly forward of your shoulders. Let's engage the center, push the floor away from us. And we're going to hover the knees, looking down towards the floor. Let's hover the knees off the floor again. And slowly lower them back down. Let's exhale to hover them up. And inhale down. Exhale out. And inhale down. Flowing through this movement, I want you to think about keeping your neck nice and long, drawing your shoulders down towards your hips, keeping that center nice and engaged so you look out through your lower back. Let's go for 6. We're going to try this again, moving our knees slightly forward. And let's go for 6. And 5. Let's go for 4. Try not to rock and roll front and forward. Just a small movement, just hovering your knees up and down. Let's go for 2. And last one. We're going to keep the hover. We're going to press the knees down into the floor, coming into your feet position, looking towards your knees. And you're going to slowly move your hands inwards towards your feet. Let's inhale to prepare. Exhale, let's bend the knees, roll yourself up, 1 vertebrae at a time. Nice and slow. It's a really good exercise for the articulation of your spine. Just making sure that you're maintaining a healthy spine. Now into the next exercise, we're going to come into our body rolls. We're just going to drop one shoulder down towards the side. We're going to roll the opposite shoulder forward, coming into the center. Then we're going to slowly roll yourself up, stacking your upper body back onto your hips and standing up nice and tall. Just finding a breath pattern which is good for you. These are really good exercise just to get the mobility, especially in your thoracic spine. Drawing your shoulders down towards your hips. Trying to keep that rib cage nice and soft. And just flowing through this movement as if you're flowing through water. Slow and in control. And let's go for one more on each side. Just rounding your spine. And slowly coming up. Just coming up into our final exercise. Let's interlace our fingers. Palms facing towards you. Now we're going to turn them out towards in front of me. We're slowly going to bring it up and then slowly round. Now we're going to do this exercise again, but when we interlace our fingers, you really want to curve the thoracic spine. You want to slowly come up. Try as much as possible not to arch your lower back. So keep that ribcage nice and soft. And then rounding your hands, coming into your shoulder blade rotations. So let's inhale to round the thoracic spine, looking down towards the floor, keeping the soft between your chin and your chest. Let's inhale to come up, and exhale down. Let's inhale to round the thoracic spine, keeping your hips stacked onto your feet. Let's inhale to come up, and exhale, open up the chest and round the shoulders. Nice. Let's go for 3 more like this. Inhale and exhale up. And inhale to round. And let's go for 2. Exhale to round. So try as much as possible. There's every exercise when you want to round your spine. So keeping your hips where they are. Let's try this again. Let's stand up again. So you just want to round your thoracic spine, okay? Let's inhale to come up. And exhale round. And let's go for 1 more. Exhale, keeping your feet stacked. Let's inhale to come up. And exhale down. Just bringing your hands by your side. Keeping this nice posture. Let's try to think about as much as possible. For the rest of your evening, to keep your neck nice and long. Keeping that soft beat between your chin and your chest. And just checking in to see that your abdominals are nice and engaged.